They're getting that great information.
Okay.
So I am so excited. Hey, Facebook world. Welcome to Healthy You. We come at you live every Wednesday morning around 8:30, give or take a little bit, depending on how the morning's going. And our goal at Healthy You is just to give you as much information as possible to make living a healthy lifestyle a little bit easier. We also just want to motivate you, encourage you, and sometimes we share success stories, and sometimes we give educational information. We have some awesome monthly experts that join us, like Mary Ardapple, teaching us all about cooking and eating well in that relationship with food. And of course, Dr. Carrie Musselman from Preferred Care comes on monthly with us, just, giving us pointers and tips about living well and weight loss. And so I am super excited. I'm sitting here chatting with my friend Gabi Morin from EatAndEvolve. Welcome to Healthy You, Gabi.
Thank you very much. Yeah, please call me Gabi. It's easier.
So, I'm like, Gabi.
I'm really excited to be here, Kim. Thank you very much for having me.
We've been working together a little bit over the last week because you've come to Curves and brought some samples for our members. And, I got really excited about what you are doing because you are providing healthy meals for people that you're cooking fresh. And we're going to talk more about the importance of that. Sure. But you are creating these fresh, healthy meals and delivering them.
Yes.
And there's nobody else in Peoria doing this.
No, this is a unique service. I saw the need in Peoria to bring a healthy meal delivery service. There's a lot of people interested in starting, make that step for a healthier lifestyle, but they don't know where to start, or they don't have the time, or they don't have the skills to cook, but they still want to try. So instead of giving them the ingredients and a recipe, we're not giving them a ready-to-eat meal. It's ready to heat and eat. It's portioned. It's fresh. It doesn't have any preservatives. It's just we deliver the same day we cook them, and they just can enjoy it wherever they want, whenever they want.
And let me tell you, it is amazing. It's delicious. I was sampling it. We're going to get to sample some more this afternoon at 5 o'clock at Curves, and so we're super excited about that. But you are going to want to share this show, so if you're tuning in, invite your friends to watch. Be sure to show us some love as we go along the way. Post some comments. Let us know what you think. And you can post questions even. We can't answer them immediately, but either Gabi or myself will come back and answer them later if you have any questions. But I want to talk about processed foods. I thought because of what you're doing with your healthy, ready meals that you're delivering, we can help people understand the difference between processed foods and whole foods and how your body responds to them and why it is so important. Because as we know, we live in a fast food world. We live in a high-paced world, and it makes it very difficult for people, busy moms. We're rushing our kids to school before we go to work, right? Yes. Or it just makes it very difficult to eat healthy. And so how many of us are, taking these frozen dinners to work, trying to make good choices, trying to be healthy, feeling like it's portioned, and believing somewhat that we are, because these food companies trick us.
Yeah.
Look at this. High protein, 28 grams of protein, right? This is an Atkins meal, chicken margarita. And they'd let you know there's only 4 grams of sugar.
So you're like, oh, wow, this is perfect.
Yeah, so you feel like this is perfect. And but then you have to look on the back and look at the ingredients. And first of all, the list of ingredients is like I don't know if they can see
8
this,
lines,
but 8 lines of ingredients. And it's just unbelievable. We're going to talk about this. The sodium content, 970 milligrams of sodium in this prepackaged meal. And, the problem with this sodium, and we were talking about this earlier, is it's a preservative sodium. So how many times have you opened up a frozen meal and you taste bland?
Yeah, still you don't get any flavor out of it.
You have no flavor. You have to add salt. There's 970 milligrams already.
That's the thing with healthy eating. There is a misperception that eating healthy has to be bland or boring. And it doesn't have to be that way. So when people are trying that food, they're like, well, it's supposed to taste bland, but I have to lose weight or I have to get healthier somehow. And what I'm trying to do with my business is to show them there's another way of actually enjoying what you're eating and also feeling good because you're doing something good for yourself.
And it tastes delicious. And it doesn't taste bland.
It doesn't at all because you can add a lot of flavor. First of all, if you use fresh ingredients and if you, as we try to do, use organic vegetables, you use all fresh, meals are going to taste better just by using fresh ingredients.
Right.
Then if you add a lot of herbs, a lot of, I would try to combine different type of cuisines in our menus. So a little bit of European, Latin American, traditional American made in a healthy way. Then meals are going to taste even better.
And you don't even use that much salt, you said.
No, and the salt we use, that's important too. We use only Himalayan pink salt, which is high in minerals and it has a lot of good stuff in it. So we don't use table salt at all, which is made. Yes. It is not natural.
Which table salt is better than this preservative salt that they put in here? So
well, it is. We put it that way.
Yeah, right. But it's true. I mean, think about it. You eat these bland meals and you feel like you're eating something healthy because I just come back to the fact that 970 milligrams of sodium. If you're curious how that lands on the scale of what you should eat, a healthy person maximum should have 2,000 milligrams of sodium a day. And that's high. Mm-hmm. I really try to keep my sodium under 1,500 milligrams. And if you struggle with blood pressure or heart disease, you should have less than 1,000 milligrams of sodium. So if you're eating a meal
of it
with 970, that's it. That's really all you should eat.
You still have to eat 2 or 3 more meals that day, right?
In one day.
In one day, yes.
And so for close to the same cost, you are serving fresh, whole foods, no preservatives.
That is correct. There is no frozen.
There's no frozen. You said you're buying your vegetables from the local market.
I do, yeah. As much as I can, I go to the farmers market, and we use lots and lots of vegetables. So the ones that are available, I do buy from the local markets, and I go to the farmer markets every Saturday, either in Metro Center or River.
Down here on the riverfront.
Yes, and I just get my vegetables. I have my garden as well, which I get my herbs and all my kale that I use for my kitchen. So, yeah.
Seriously?
Seriously,
you're like Mary Art Apple. You have your own garden.
I do, yeah.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. And this is why I'm excited about what you're doing. Obviously, I'm coaching ladies at Curves, trying to help them live a healthy lifestyle, encouraging them to cook healthy, encouraging them to feed their families healthy. And the biggest kickback that I hear is their time. And they're always asking about frozen meals. And, I'm trying to show them and share with them. And we're trying to find the healthiest frozen meals on the market to try to make it as easy as possible. And then as I started learning more about your Eat and Evolve business, I was like, this is a perfect fit. This is a perfect solution for people who are busy.
Yeah, there's another thing about healthy eating is the planning. People, it's not only they don't have the time to cook, it's the time it takes to plan where you're going to cook, to get the recipes, to go buy all the ingredients, cook, and then clean it after. So it's a whole process, and when you have kids, when you have a full-time job, and you're trying to work out a little bit, at least 3 to 5 days a week, when do you have time to actually sit and say, when am I going to be eating on Wednesday or Thursday? You don't know. So what we're trying to do here is we have a menu every week. I change the menu every week because we have 4 menus every month. So they don't get to eat one meal only. They get to eat the meal only once a month. They don't get bored about eating the same stuff over and over
change
again.
It out monthly.
Yes, and I give the menu to them. They don't need to pick their meals. It's just, of course, I give them the option. If they don't like something, they can tell me. But I just give them a little bit of everything. We work with 5 types of proteins, complex carbs, vegetables in every meal. So I kind of give them the plan. This is what you're going to eat. If you want to change something, we can do that. But that saves them a lot of time and effort, and they can focus on other things.
And you just talked about something. You talked about complex carbs. Mm-hmm. So let's help people understand the difference, because there are carbs, right? There are carbs, like on this milk.
Yeah.
There are carbs. There's 41 grams of carbohydrates in this breakfast essential.
Of course, the way they market it is 10 grams of protein, but they don't tell you. They don't tell you the sugar.
There's 15 grams of sugar, and there are 41 grams of carbohydrates in here. This is not complex carbs. Mm-hmm. These are the processed carbs that we really need to avoid. And we're going to talk a little bit about why. But explain the difference between complex carbs and these kind of carbs that are just in here, the 41 grams of carbs in a processed meal.
Yes. It's important to eat carbs that have fiber in it. Simple carbs have almost or non-fiber in it. And we're talking white bread, flour, sugar, like, white sugar some people put in their coffee, and everything around that, cakes, cookies, everything, good stuff, right? That tastes good.
The stuff that tastes yummy. And actually, they're talking about how it's called hyper rewarding. They've actually labeled it.
It does create an addiction. So it's really hard to kind of put that away from your diet. But if you substitute those carbs for complex carbs, the ones that are high in fiber and still starchy, it's not that you're going to eat salad and vegetables every day. You get your quinoa, you get your brown rice, you get potatoes sometimes.
Sweet potato lasagna. Yeah. You make the best sweet potato lasagna. Instead of using noodles, use sweet potatoes.
Yeah, sliced.
So
really
good.
Yeah, that's one of the favorites. So there's ways. You can substitute traditional simple carbs, pasta for other things that taste good and just work same.
It tastes the same.
It does.
You do when I was trying and sampling that sweet potato lasagna, it truly tasted like lasagna. The flavors, you get the same flavors, and I didn't even realize there was no pasta in it. Mm-hmm. It did not seem as though it was missing the pasta.
Well, because the pasta actually doesn't have much flavor itself. It's about the sauce, about the meat, about what you put in it. So you can make it work. That's what I want to show my clients, that if you have a little bit of open mind to try new things, you can just, instead of using this, why don't you use this? You get satisfied, because that's another thing. Some people think, this is what I'm going to eat. This is not enough. I'm going to feel hungry. Or maybe if they do that, it's still
more than this. This box looks big.
But it's actually, no, it's really satisfying. We're talking 5 ounces of protein, lean protein. We're talking chicken breast, lean sirloin, pork tenderloin, which for sure looks...
I'm not going to eat this. I have no problem opening it. I only bought it because I wanted to bring it on the show today. This is the portion.
Is that
it's
chicken? Okay.
This is your chicken. So don't be, this is where people get, they put this big in a box that feels really heavy, but then when you open it up, it's just...
It looks sad.
This is full. When you put your food in there, it is full with amazing fresh vegetables and complex carbs.
And that's what makes you feel full. If you're eating your fiber and a good amount of protein, you're going to feel satisfied. That's what we're doing with our meals.
Well, and remember last week, Mary Ardapple was talking about this your taste buds. And if you eat meals that satisfy each of those tastes, like the sweet, the bitter, right? you're going to be more satisfied.
That's
and
true.
the fiber that's in there is filling. And I want to just read some of this here. This is really interesting. I found this amazing article, Gabby, and we were talking about it before the show started. And one of the things is, how do we know that processed food is bad for us? You know, I think a lot of times people are like, oh, there's a hype. It's not as bad as people make it sound. You know, how do we know that processed food is bad for us? And this is what they say. Every time a population adopts a Western diet high in processed food, they get sick. It happens within a few years. It happens relatively quickly. Their genes don't change. Their genetic makeup does not change. Their diets change.
Yes.
And you were even saying you just read a...
Yes, I read an article about it, and there's research that have shown that the longer a culture, say any country, wait to introduce processed foods in their diets, the healthier they are.
Long
the
term.
longer, yeah, the
and
long
so the
term.
problem is that the serious issue about what you're saying is that we're not waiting. Our kids are eating processed food early on, from the time they're 1 and 2 years old, and start eating macaroni and cheese. All that baby food in those jars, processed food. We're feeding them processed food from the get-go.
The first time I saw the mac and cheese, the cheese comes in a powder. I couldn't believe that. I mean,
they don't have powdered cheese in Venezuela.
No, they don't. So I'm like, what is this? Am I supposed to make with this? So yeah, it was, and it doesn't taste very well either.
No,
so you can make the same with regular cheese if you shred it.
Yes. And not have to use in fact, I was reading some research about macaroni and cheese being one of in the box with the powdered cheese is one of the absolute worst things that we can eat. My daughter loves it. We're all guilty. I mean, you know, we grow up in this culture and we all become guilty of eating these foods that are really bad for us. Processed foods, number one reason we should not eat processed food. There's like 9 reasons here. I don't know if we'll get through all of them. But the number one is processed foods are usually high in sugar and high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup has been labeled as poison.
Because it's a GMO, is a
GMO.
modified. Yeah.
And we won't find any high fructose corn syrup in your meals.
No, not at all. We don't use any sugar or any of that. It's just when I need to sweet something, like for instance, I made banana pancakes, gluten-free banana pancakes yesterday. So the bananas themselves are sweet, but I add some dates.
Oh, and dates are delicious.
So
and
if you
they
put
are
dates,
super sweet.
Super sweet. You don't need to add any more sugar. And I mean, you could put some organic maple syrup on top of them, but you're good to go. You don't need any added sugar.
I tried this. Was it blueberry French toast?
Yeah,
what is that?
It's a triple berry French toast.
Triple berry French toast that I kept going back and eating like it was dessert. I'm like, nobody was eating it. I'm like, there was extra left. I think they didn't want to because it was sweet, but I kept going back.
It's good because, you know, you think French toast is a wide slice of bread. Why don't you do it with something that doesn't have flour or wheat in it? So we just eat Ezekiel bread in my house.
Ezekiel? You made that French toast with Ezekiel bread?
Yes.
Ezekiel bread French toast? That was delicious.
It's flourless and it's just sprouted grains.
Yeah, it is flourless. That's what I have in my refrigerator. You have to keep it refrigerated because there's no preservatives.
That's true.
But I hadn't thought about making French toast with it. Of course, you probably can, and that's what you used. Oh my gosh!
You just put some coconut milk and eggs and make it the same way you usually do it.
It's delicious. You know.
So the addiction that the sugar.
It's just crazy. Processed foods are hyper rewarding and lead to overconsumption. Why do you think the processed foods lead to overconsumption?
Well, because any drugs, you feel that, you feel like that excitement. It kind of keeps you high and then it goes down. So you need it again. Sugar high, you need it again. So you can't stop. You think, I'm going to get only one cookie. You get one and get another one.
It feels satisfying for about 5 minutes and then you want another cookie.
That's true. So You can make healthy cookies. And I always recommend not to kind of take away all the sugar and all the flour and everything like completely, because it's really hard to keep it. We're trying to make like long-term changes here, so people are gonna feel adapt slowly to that, so they don't feel the urge to the need to eat it, or it's really hard for them and they're gonna quit and then go back to them. It's just.
Are you creating all your own recipes here, or are these family recipes that you use? Like, do you find a recipe like the sweet potato lasagna and then you just kind of make it your own?
Some of them, they're really popular here in the States. For instance, brisket. People love brisket, but I just made it in a healthier way. Lasagna, we love lasagna at home, so I just read a lot of people that are really into getting healthier recipes and learn from them. And I keep experimenting, maybe because I'm a chemical engineer formally. So I'm like, I'm going to add this, I'm going to add that. And if it tastes good.
And I got to visit you at your kitchen, and you are just working up a storm in there cooking all this food. I just was so impressed. You have a couple of other chefs in there helping you
yes.
Cook, and it's just really amazing. I know that before we get to the end of our show, we got a lot more to talk about, but really quick, they may be wondering, how do they get in touch with you? So I don't want anybody to miss this opportunity, because if you are someone who is eating a lot of these frozen meals or a lot of processed food, or you just do not like to cook, I know several of the Curves members are going to sign up for your program, and some of them are women who are single or at home or widowed, and they don't cook anymore, and so they've been eating out a lot, and they want to do this instead of eating out. It's less expensive. But where would you send them? Should they go to your website?
Yes. The website is www.EatAndEvolve.com. Everything is in there. They order online. They could order, with their cell phones or in the computer. And we have different plans depending on the amount of meals they would like for the week. And yes, we take orders every week. We deliver 2 times a week, Sundays and Tuesday evening, the days we cook. And meals come in these containers. So
this is like a breakfast?
Yeah, this is like a breakfast, or maybe a chili. I made chili this week, and we delivered in this.
Chili, yeah, that was
So, but we're talking 12 ounces of chili in there. It's not. You won't feel like you're hungry after you eat it. And we deliver in this bag. The bag is isolated, so we just text you or call you when we are on our way to deliver. The meals come in here. They are safe up to 3 hours in your front porch if you're not home in the evening, and then you're good to go. You grab your meals, you put it in the fridge, and you have your lunch for next day or dinner that night. You put it on the microwave, or you put it in a glass plate, or
These are microwavable
dishwasher safe. Yes, and they're BPA free, which is really important.
Yeah,
it means it's a good plastics. Plastic is a really good quality. It won't,
And then you recycle these too. You take those.
We do. We try to do like. I'm trying to save the planet here.
Hey, one person at a time, right?
Yeah.
I was just kind of comparing, because this again is one of these frozen meals. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad if they're eating this. I'm just trying to help us understand a little bit better. It's all about education. It's all about knowing. I'm not trying to say that I've not ever been guilty of eating something like this. I have. We all have. But you need to know. You need to be in the know. This little Weight Watchers Smart Ones, it seems like, this is like an okay thing to eat. You look at the back. First of all, proportion. This only has 180 calories. 180 calories. That's a snack. You should eat more than that for breakfast, first of all. 180 calories should be a morning snack or an afternoon snack.
No wonder why you're hungry after, in the middle of the morning.
Right. And then or you're going all day and then you're starving to death because you're not getting that nutrition. But what I want you to realize is, you might look on the back and say, this only has 520 milligrams of sodium. 520 milligrams of sodium. That's not as much as almost 1,000. But the bottom line is in proportion to the 180 calories. So we're talking 520 milligrams of sodium in 180 calories.
It just has less sodium because smaller and it has less calories.
I assure you that when you taste this, it is not going to taste salty. You will have to add salt to this if you like salt, or otherwise it's going to taste super bland because that is preservative salt. It's not the same as the table salt. And it's really bad. They gave a sample on this article that I read, and I don't know if you can see that, but if you can see that, this is an ingredient list of a protein bar.
Yeah.
And of a popular protein bar. And we eat a lot of protein bars in this country because we're all about protein, right? We're strength training now. We understand that we need to build lean muscle.
Yes.
And we're all about protein. But there is a such thing as a complete protein, and then there's this kind of protein.
Yeah, that's crazy.
When you see something with this many ingredients, you really shouldn't eat it.
No, I mean, if you do it once in a while, maybe it's fine, but there's some people that just grab a protein bar in the morning and they just off, to work. So you need to pay attention to what you're putting into your body. You need, to nurture your body. And
what are some breakfast options that you provide? I know the French toast, it's fabulous.
We have, most of them are gluten-free. That's important. We don't use any flour in them. So we have crepes, sweet and savory. We have muffins, banana muffins, blueberry muffins. We have, with eggs, we have all kinds of frittata. We have the breakfast casserole. We have empanadas, which are big in my country and lots of Latin American countries. And an empanada is a dough that they made out of wheat. In some places, I made it out of some other healthy ingredients that are gluten-free. And you put a filling inside, like some ground beef or cheese or, kale with low-fat cream cheese. And then you close it. And when you take a bite, it has all good stuff inside.
Yum.
So that is really good. It's crispy on the outside and it's screaming
warm
inside.
And yummy on the inside.
So yeah, we have several options for them to try.
And we'd already talked about, it says number 5 reason processed foods are often high in refined carbohydrates, and we explained the difference between refined carbs and complex carbs. A good complex carb like quinoa, there's absolutely nothing wrong with eating that, and it's very good for you, and you need it.
Not only that, that's one of the carbs that is not only is high in fiber, it has protein, which is not, you don't find lots of carbs that actually have a protein content on them.
And protein content, yes.
So quinoa is one of them.
And it says processed foods are low in nutrients, which we've been just talking about, and fiber. Yes. That's exactly the problem. Processed foods tend to be low in fiber. We don't eat enough fiber. We need more fiber, and those complex carbs have
because
fiber.
It helps to detox ourselves. The fiber is the one that helps us to just get rid of all that we don't need anymore.
It attaches to the bad stuff and gets rid of it. This was one thing. We're running out of time, but it takes less energy to process, for your body to digest the processed foods. So in a study, they found that your body burns more calories, more energy when it digests whole, good quality foods versus processed foods. So that's the thermic effect of food. There's a such thing as a thermic effect of food. So you are going to burn more energy, more calories if you eat whole foods. That's and you avoid these processed foods. There's so much more that we can talk about.
Well, maybe
so get in touch with my friend Gabriella.
EatAndEvolve.com. My cell phone is 309-363-1803, and you can email me at Gabriella@EatAndEvolve.com.
And this is just a great option for you if you're someone who's eating out often or eating a lot of processed foods. I hope you check her out. Have a rest of a good Wednesday. Thanks for tuning in to Healthy You, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gabby.